Sun said the king the reason we called the professor heads was because he was the first angel that was created in a duality. He had more than one of everything from a hand, a brain, an eye, a tooth, and even a soul, a mind, and personality. The most undeniable power, however, was what every being strived for. This undeniable energy and power was known as reason. The hierarchy of our powers, or the energies that we harness and manipulate to our will, is what the All-Fathers called the classes of the passions, and the skill of art was the way they exercised the supernatural abilities that every living thing possessed. Even humans, asked Chaos. Yes, Sun, even humans, the animals, and even plants and insects. The only difference is that most living things only tapped into these powers when startled or in life or death situations. Adrenaline was a sacred oil that was said to been a gift to celestial beings that came from the species of dragons or the Dragos. The dictators of war, destruction, and cataclysm. The dragons were masters of the motion and the rhythm of the jigsaw puzzle. Sun, the up and down motion were the first building blocks of the process of raising one's vibration frequency and energy. After vibes were elevated, they could then be shaped and molded into the sacred shapes, which then could unlock doors to realms of magnificent magic. Some were elegant, calm, and peaceful, and beautiful and agreeable entities. However, there were many that were extremely dangerous or toxic and harmful and unstable. Through the passions one could balance the yin and yang, the negative and positive, the plus and minus, and the multipus and the dividends into a what the All-Fathers spoke into existence as the word we know as the answer even till this very day. The trick was to carefully turn the word known as problem into and equal the answer as the outcome, and together this trinity was known as the equation. Equation was a cunning riddler whom till this very day will prepare every warrior with the tests of equations. Mayat was his name, and he was the principality of order, and the professor paused. Order and chaos, the prince screamed in a villain-like roar. The entire class looked around at the prince, startled as his entire afro sizzled and fried with the hottest glaze of fire resonating outward. The boy's hair and eyes were all inflamed, and his body temperature was so hot that his sweat boiled
and evaporated before it could even drop down his face. Either order or chaos. Order, chaos. If not order, then let there be chaos, he growled. Breathe, chaos, said the professor. Just breathe in as slowly as you can and slowly exhale. Controlling your breath is the only way you will survive this transition, young king. He all of a sudden looks like the most mesmerizing Alpha Leo the First had ever seen, said his classmate Fa, the princess from the Orion constellation. She was the most important angel in training of universe cities, at least until now. He looks so much like the Emperor Almighty, said Q Marks the Riddler. Class, said Master Teacher Heads. Your breathing is the beginning of learning and knowing yourself and your other selves or inner selves. The genies are directly from the ethereal plane, and they operate similar to how fire is conjured up or ignited. Any and every spark to the inner mind will instantly ignite the black fire, thus allowing the crown chakra to align and activate the third eye, and inner and outer beings switch positions inside and outside, and the former host becomes the shadow self. Vibration, my future king, said the master teacher. Vibration is the key and the instrument used to control, harness, and harmonize the one with the other. The vibrations, if performed correctly in specific rhythms, will determine how comfortable this transition and transformation will be for you. Art is the most fundamental element and the gift that the Elohim passed down to the chosen heirs of the royal bloodline. This institution was established for this very reason. Each and every mind here are the chosen members of the renowned incarnations. The mud line of the Wilder Empire. the masculine or the alphas and the feminine line or the omegas. The sons and sisters from the womb of Mama Gaia itself. Only a perfect spiral of sound and light can calm and contain the untamable forces of nature and ethers, in which the two forces we know as Shakti and Shiva would appear. They were the same exact opposite from one another. Love and hate and conflict and peace combined. The test was combining the two until their beloved battle is turned into a blissful dance in which the elements and the physical body were as one, and the wheeler of this Kundalini yoga became a vessel for the God, the Guru, the sages, the All-Fathers, into a deity known as the Headmaster and the Emperor Elohim's Buddha. The Buddha was the final masterpiece of the greatest master artist known to the universes. The Buddha then could control the host body and exist for however long the vessel could uphold this extreme power. This was the reason, and this had to be this way because of the principle of correspondence, which states that for anything to exist, then it had to be an exact opposite of that thing existing also. For example, how could it be a such thing as a one without another, or good with no bad, up with no down, as so forth? We all have this duality within ourselves that will forever battle for control of the host body and flesh, until we learn to balance and control the two. The mind and the soul, our flesh, will be in conflict and turmoil with itself. Professor Heads, however, was one of the first beings to manifest masculine races, and his disagreeable twin counterpart was of the feminine matriarch race. On one side he was a brilliant and righteous, well-respected hero, and on the other she was cunning and conniving, ununderstandable wolf-like being, very powerful but evil, and had the villain mentality. She hated anything that didn't bow or worship her and loved anything that was afraid and flirtatious to her. She was the physical manifestation of animal lust, and she harnessed her power from sexual energies, mostly forced. All our lives Archangel Heads has been focused on taming and trapping the witch dog so that she isn't able to plant the seeds of trickery and deception across the face of the earth the way she formed the underworld or hell. And might I add, said the queen, she has had a wicked crush on your father for all eternity, and she is obsessed with having him once more. Chaos looked with a sense of disbelief as he thought to himself once more. Maybe I should wait to ask father when we're alone, but forgetting that the queen was an empath and psychic, she intruded. No need to wait till later, son, ask him. And the king looked with a bashful and embarrassing blush. Well, son, when I was a young prince, a little older than you are now, I was seduced and trapped by the demi-goddess, and this was when I met the professor. How long were you held captive, father? Safe. Chaos. Captive my ass, said Queen Fa, if that's what you want to call it. He wasn't a captive, he was having the time of his life, hypnotized by her beauty and mesmerized by her sexual experience. She had 1,000 children in the time of his so-called captivity. That's right, son, what we know as the underdogs are all descendants of your father and your half-brothers and sisters. We always wondered when would be a good time to tell you, and I guess the time is now.